When I was a younger man, I found it very difficult to reconcile why there seemed to be so many problems in the world. Everywhere I looked, I saw people doing things that I just knew deep down inside were not good for themselves, others around them, or for that matter, the whole planet. So around the age of 7, and with thanks to my father, I began to study science to figure out the reason behind the craziness I was witnessing. I had my own little laboratory in my room, and I learned everything I could about the workings of the universe. What I learned from those years was that this world operates according to certain laws that are simply put uncontestable, undebatable and irrefutable. But more importantly, that humans, their societies and all their endeavours are subject to those exact same laws. These laws have been discovered by scientists throughout history in an effort to understand the universe that surrounds us and hopefully make a better world. But the seemingly endless and futile struggle we face is due to our tendency to always try and come up with a fixed, invariable system to manage ourselves, but one which ignores these basic laws. We have created many systems, but not one of them actually seems to work properly. The law system has turned out to be the cause of our greatest injustices. The medical system is the greatest danger to our health. The government system is the greatest cause of public unrest and disorder. The economic system the greatest cause of poverty. The military system the greatest threat to peace. The education system the greatest cause of stupidity, and religion the greatest cause of lack of love. This tendency for everything we do to backfire and bite us in the backside later is plainly and succinctly described by the law of action and reaction, which states that any action will cause an equal and opposite reaction. The important word in there is opposite, i.e. opposing or resisting. In the world of science, this law is so basic and completely understood that it lies at the very heart of experimentation, the act of seeing what happens when. But in society and government, there is virtually no consideration given to the repercussions of our actions, and the innumerable warnings of the scientific community to the rest of the world regarding our situation and what we need to do about it are totally ignored due to yet another system we have cunningly created called the media. Again, it's an oxymoron. Media suggests mediation, yet this system seems to be the one most responsible for the arguments we have. The power of the media to suppress distribution of really important information is demonstrated by the fact that most people have never heard of the World Scientists' Warning to Humanity, released back in 1992 and signed by some 1,500 of the most prominent scientists on the globe. These concerned souls tried so hard to warn us about what we were heading for, but the whole effort failed, largely because it wasn't something that people wanted to hear, and therefore was of little value in promoting it. It wasn't good for the ratings. And yet we still continue to ignore these scientists. Armed with this knowledge, it now becomes apparent that all one has to do to find the source of a problem is look at the very system that is meant to eradicate it. The extent and sheer enormity of the battle we wage with ourselves has now surpassed even biblical proportions, and the list of mistakes we have made, if printed on A4 sheets and stacked in one pile, would reach to heaven and beyond. We have wasted enough money to provide care for everyone on the planet. We have maimed, killed and tortured enough animals to stock every farm on Earth many times over, and we have almost completely succeeded in destroying virtually everything that supports us, and that's just the beginning. This level of collective intelligence is about on par with that of a virus that kills its own host. It is no wonder that we are not formally visited by more intelligent forms of life, because no intelligent being in its right mind would ever come here, certainly not while we are devoting just about all of our energy into wiping ourselves out, and certainly not for any other reason than just to watch the show. Countless individuals and organizations are struggling to make a positive change, and yet the net effect has been that things just keep getting worse. Now, it is blatantly obvious that the problems we face rise pretty much in proportion with the population. The more people, the more problems. Yet, with the exception of a very few countries, our governments are basically encouraging us from all angles to make more babies, only to have to kill them later when they grow up. In the inimitable words of the ranting griffin, America is spending hundreds of billions of dollars killing people. Hundreds of billions. That's enough money to give God a sex change. This is madness. No, this is Earth. This insanity has got to stop. What the world needs is a way for people to combat stupidity. The way things have been, we have never had a way to voice our collective opinions on matters that impact on our lives, and thus we have all been forced to sit and just cop it when some authority, corporation, government organization or leader does something that severely disadvantages us all. There's never been yet any single channel through which we can all effectively speak and put a stop to that which we agree is something that shouldn't be allowed to happen. Take the typical example of dumping toxic chemicals. A company may be charged $250,000 penalty for every day they dump their poisons into the ocean. That is supposed to be a deterrent. But it doesn't work because the company saves much more than this by dumping the stuff instead of treating it. So it continues. And whoever is collecting the penalty money is rubbing their hands with glee all the way to the bank. What a lovely little arrangement. Now you try and go in there and do something about it, and you're threatening a $250,000 a day enterprise. That's big money, enough to make it profitable for whoever is in charge to have you knocked off. Peace is not profitable. On the other hand, wars stimulate the economy. Industries have a field day producing weapons and stuff, and so all manner of government officials and mega-rich entities plot all sorts of ways to start wars so that they can make more money. It has proven pretty much futile for any one individual, small activist group, or even a large one to combat this type of thing. The solution in this case being to change the law so that the penalties become sufficiently high for these corporations or companies to stop doing what they're doing to ruin the environment. The only time we'll ever make true progress is when we all act as one. But until we have something in place that can organize us to act in this fashion, all our separate efforts will fail. What we need is a website where people could raise issues and vote on them. For example, penalties for illegal dumping of toxic waste should be increased sufficiently to effectively deter the offender from continuing this activity. This way, people would not only get a chance to have their say, but also to see how many others agreed with them. What we need is a big cleanup. Come and join us. www.abigcleanup.com